Or- Hello, everyone, and welcome to Be Different session. Be Different is something that was created in order that we can connect people with real stories, real experiences, real journeys that can help and expand perspective and inspire growth. And today's session is very, very special to me, not because the guest is a very close friend of mine, but also it's a part of our Breaking Borders conversation where we people bring different cultures, experiences, and real stories together so we can all share experiences not only in the Gulf area but across the world. And me personally, when I was very young, I always dreamed of to have this happen and people can know each other across countries, the world, and exchange cultures. And our guest today, as I told you, a very close friend of mine, Olga, a free teacher and translator with more than 13 years of international experience. She holds the CELTA certification from the University of Cambridge, one of the most respected qualifications in English language teaching worldwide. So I think I'm not going to have a chance today with my English compared to what she have. She's also certified in Euro language coach, working with advanced methods that connects language learning with how the brain process information. I think I'm gonna teach this today. I'm gonna learn this today. And Olga had worked internationally, including teaching in United Arab Emirates. In addition to, I always say it's very important for young people to start volunteering. And she had a great volunteering experiences in many institutions. What makes her journey even more interesting that she built her career around freelancing, independence, and solo traveling. And me personally, I was really inspired by her journey. That's why I told her we have to do something, and what you did has to come out not only to Egypt, but to the world. Olga, welcome to Be Different. Internet always happens. I really wish that one day I would do a session and there's not going to be an internet connection. Always have the same thing. Let me know if you can hear me.
Yes, I can.
Perfect. So now everyone watching this, if you're watching on YouTube, don't forget to subscribe to our channel. And now let's welcome Olga. Welcome. Welcome, Olga. How are you doing?
Hello, Yusuf. Nice to see you. Thank you for inviting me to this, I don't know, podcast, to this interview. I'm good. I'm good. I'm doing great. Now in Brazil.
Amazing,
Hello
amazing.
from
So you're in
Brazil.
Brazil now. All right, that's amazing,
Yes.
amazing. So before we start, Olga, and dive deep into your story, that I'm sure many young people would be interested to hear. Let's start with a quick warm-up game. So I'm gonna be asking you questions. I'll give you two options, and you choose one quickly. All right?
Okay.
Cool. Green or black?
Black
Okay. Mountains or beach?
mountains.
Backpack or suitsit?
Backpack.
Planning your trip or a spontaneous travel?
Planning my trip.
Airbnb or hostels?
Hostels.
Street food or restaurant?
Street food.
Sunrise or night city?
Night city.
Amazing. Now let's talk about your journey. So let's start with, let's go back at the beginning, at very, very beginning. What made you decide to start traveling solo? If there were any specific moment or turning point that you're like, I want to go solo now. Let's see how it goes.
Yeah, actually, I remember myself sitting and working in my co-working in Moscow. And that was like I was in Moscow for like a long period of time, almost like a year. And I'm sitting, and then I just realized that, like, wow, why I cannot go just by myself? Why should I wait for someone to join me? Because it's very difficult to plan with people, to wait for them, I don't know, to plan with them, to organize everything. So at some point, I was just like, yes, I'm going. And my first destination with solo trip was Egypt, actually, Dahab. That's where I went.
Oh, all right. And what made you choose
Yes.
specifically Dahab? Like, what's really interesting about it there?
Mm. Because I'm very passionate about free diving and scuba diving, and
Hmm.
I had always heard amazing things about the Red Sea,
Hmm.
especially Dahab place.
Oh.
So I think I didn't even think for a long time. I was like, okay, I need to make my dream come true. I need to see Dahab, to see
Hmm.
this wonderful place, and go explore the sea.
It's such an
Yeah.
amazing place, and we would definitely get back to the point of Dahab. But me personally, people who know me personally, they know that always like to travel solo. And I don't like the group travels and stuff. So I personally tried that. But before I tried it, I had a fear of trying it. Am I going to get along with people? Am I going to be able to sit with the right people or not? Especially that I care about the surroundings about me. So choosing the surroundings makes a difference. And here I'm going to ask you, and I'm sure that many youth people have the same question. What was your biggest fear you had before your first solo trip? You told us now that your first solo trip was Dahab. So do you remember your fears? What were they?
Yeah, like you said, just being afraid of being alone and being lonely in a negative way, and not being able to survive, to manage, to overcome all these difficulties and challenges that you have when you travel alone because you have no support. You
Mm-hmm.
really have to always pull yourself together in many stressful situations and
Mm-hmm.
just somehow manage and go speak to people, not being afraid of that.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, just being afraid of not being able to overcome the difficulties by myself.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I definitely agree on that. And I personally had the same thing. And that actually has changed a lot of my character. And that would like makes us to the next question. Like, what did solo traveling
Mm.
teach you about yourself?
For me, solo traveling is the best like life school that any can ever have because you really grow up as a person. You develop so much because, yeah, you are constantly in new environments with different people from different cultures. So you really adapt. You learn to be patient. You learn to appreciate what you have. Um, so really, I think I changed a lot in many, many good ways. And yeah, I just believe in myself much more than I used to do.
Amazing. You just like touched a very two points that really touched my heart. Believed in yourself more, and you said it's the best life school. Because I always have that personal perspective or
Yes.
personal point of view that I might be wrong, but I always say school teach you information, and university teach you theories or methods, but no one actually teaches you identity. And this is exactly like what we teach people in Be Different program, young people specifically, is the identity part. What are the experiences that they can go through to build their identity, to have a better personality, to build a better career, and to have more meaningful life. And that's why it's very, very important that people invest in their personalities that can change on the longer terms. And that's going to makes us go to the next question. Do you think traveling alone truly changes someone's personality or doesn't have any impact on the personality part?
So much in the best ways, like so much, because you become more open, you become more self-confident, you learn so much about yourself because you're put in so many different situations.
Hmm.
And sometimes you even maybe surprise yourself how well you handle them. And yeah, and the world actually is not that scary. There are so many amazing people around. I
Hmm.
think the world is actually very welcoming. And as I've
Hmm.
been traveling around Latin America by myself, I've been to Mexico, Peru, Colombia, now in Brazil. Yeah, if you are careful, the world is so beautiful. It's amazing,
Hmm.
and the people are so kind and also wonderful.
Hmm. Oh, that's really nice. And now I'm actually putting
Mhm.
myself in the shoe of a young lady now watching us. She might be asking a question. Maybe she would say, "Okay, Olga, maybe you just like got lucky and you met the right people.
Mhm.
What
Mhm.
can make me do the same thing? Or how can I guarantee that the people are good? Because people, not everyone is good. I do believe that everyone is good because simply we were not born
Mhm.
bad. We were babies. And if someone turned to be a good on a longer terms, so he or she maintained the goodness that we were born with, or if someone turned bad, he or she have let the bad experiences change their personality. So I think it's very, very important that we keep on remembering that we were not born bad. But back to the question, how can I make sure that when I'm out solo, that I take care of myself? Like, if you can take us through, how do you do that?
It's a very good question. Yes. I think the first thing that you do, you maybe research as well about the place you're going to. Just like read about it. You can ask
Mhm.
ChatGPT, can give you some advice. But these are just basic advice. Like you don't go alone when it's late. Can you hear me? I'm just checking. The
Yes, yes,
connection.
yes,
Yes.
yes, yes.
You don't go alone when it's dark. Yeah, I don't know.
Mhm.
You maybe if you're in a hostel, you always maybe move with the group. Like in Colombia,
Mhm.
uh, we were like always in a group from the hostel because
Mhm.
the guys said that yeah, you should be like together,
Mhm.
So always take precautions. Um, and I don't know, but maybe with time, with years, you learn how to identify and see if these people, like if you can trust these people or not, and
Mhm.
just being attentive, I think, being attentive. In my
Mhm.
experience, touch wood, I've never had any bad experiences.
Okay.
Nothing dangerous ever happened to me. So, but I've always been very careful. Like I don't talk to everyone. Like I just always kind of scan the surroundings, also. I think. Yes.
Very nice. So being attentive, research about the
Hmm.
place before you go to, and don't go out
Yes.
at late times.
Yes, when you travel alone, you're never alone. Yeah, you go to
Hmm.
hostels, you meet so many people, and yeah, I usually have like good experience. So if there's like many people, then you are strong and yeah, you can easily avoid bad situations. Yeah.
Perfectly structured. Thank you for that, Olga. And speaking of loneliness, and you said alone being alone, and that would take us to the next section of this session today, which is being alone. People always say, like in university, you're surrounded with your colleagues, with professors, with doctors. Same applies at school. You're surrounded with your parents, maybe you're surrounded by your teachers. There is a community around you. You don't do everything by yourself. But the moment you graduate right away from university, you're alone. Regardless, you work in a
Mm.
corporate, you work in a startup, or you're a freelance, and you have a 13 years of an international experience. And most importantly, many of these years, you were freelancing. Besides traveling, you built a great career out of freelancing. And freelancing for many people is something risky. Today, I might have a project. Tomorrow, I'm not. Today, I'm teaching a lesson. Tomorrow, I'm not doing anything. So, I want to go back by time when Olga first started working as a freelance English teacher. How did you start? Like, what were the steps that you took?
Yeah, actually, it started quite naturally. I was still at the university, and when I was in my second year, I realized that I need to start working. I just need to start getting experience and start making money.
Mm-hmm.
Because yes, I wanted to, I don't know, buy things, I wanted to travel, but also just, kind of go to this adult world, start making money because I
Mm-hmm.
was already not a teenager, I was an adult, yeah, like a young adult.
Mm-hmm.
So then I first, yeah, I went to all those platforms online when you can find all these requests from usually parents looking for teachers for their kids. So that's
Mm-hmm.
how I started. I was like going from one house to another, making maybe, I don't know, $5 per hour because I was still a
Okay.
student. Yes, yes, but I loved it. I gained so much experience, and then I just continued throughout all my years, and it's my only profession that I've done in my life. Yeah, so I don't know, just yeah, happened like this, and then I just love the flexibility and the freedom that it gives. I love my students. I am my own boss as well, so I just continued, and then I can work
Okay.
online as well. Yeah.
Amazing, amazing. That's a risk that me personally, I'll never take. I get afraid of that. But you just like said something very interesting. You said you go and knock on people's doors, like actual doors, like you go to their houses and hey, I'm an English instructor. I want to teach your kid, or how exactly you were doing it.
Mm, no, no, no. I was looking for requests online on the
Okay,
internet. Like,
okay.
hello, I'm looking for a teacher for my daughter.
Mm,
Like, which days, what time,
okay,
how much, where they're located. I was traveling a lot around Moscow, and it
okay,
usually took me like 1 hour to get to one place, then 1 hour to get to another place. Like I lost a lot of time just on traveling in
okay.
between. But yeah, so I just found the requests. I like talked to them on the phone, and then if they said, okay, you can maybe work with us,
Hmm.
then I was like just going physically from house to house in different locations all around
Okay.
Moscow.
That reminds me of
Mhm.
something. You did something very great. That reminded me of the Steve Jobs startup methodology. Like Steve Jobs, when he started to found Apple in 1974, what he did is that he collected all the investors that were interested to invest in technology products back then in 1974. And then he
Mhm.
wrote all the numbers on a paper. And then he took his home phone and then, hey, I'm Steve Jobs, CEO of Apple. There was no Apple, it wasn't Garage. And I know that you're interested to invest in a product. So he definitely got lots of rejections at the beginning. And by the end, we all know Apple now. We all have its phones and laptops and their products. But how do you remember by any chance how many rejections have you received, or it never happened, or how did you feel when someone told you no,
Of
thank you?
course. Of course, sometimes people would say yes and then they disappear, or for some reason they just say, oh, we found someone else. Of course. And there are still rejections, even now,
Mm,
of course, because it doesn't mean you're a bad specialist or, I don't know, they don't like you. They may be. Like there are so many people and different energies, so sometimes you just don't match, and it's okay. Even
mm-hmm,
if maybe they like you, maybe there are some circumstances. Maybe sometimes, I don't know, they cannot afford it, they cannot afford the services. Maybe they're looking for, I don't know, a stricter teacher. Maybe some
mm-hmm,
people are looking for like a friendly one who can be like a friend to their kids. So yes, I still get it, and it's fine.
mm-hmm,
It's part of the process to get
mm-hmm,
rejections. It's okay. You say thank you for your time, but I go next. I look for my
mm-hmm.
other clients. Of course,
You
it's
said
part
something
of
very
life.
interesting now because I personally go through this. Like when I first found to be
Mm,
different, I received lots of rejections from school and still go through the same thing. But the only thing that I'm not able to change is that demotivation and the feeling of being rejected. I feel like, as you said, being rejected doesn't determine that you're a bad person or a bad specialist. It means that this person is not interested anymore. And this is a very, very, very good mental model that people should start thinking of. And me personally, but I remember 6 months ago, someone told me, "Hey, we're interested to have be different program in our school," and I got really excited. And then I went and prepared the presentation, and I almost stayed for 3 hours just doing a presentation on my laptop so I can send it in 30
Mhm.
seconds through the email. And after I sent it, nothing has happened. And then I started to have that self doubt moments of, should I stop? Uh, did they want just to see my program in order that they can implement it on their own? How do you manage to keep on not being demotivated, especially that you always travel the world and you travel solo? And that means you have many solitude moments where you sit alone with no support system around you, no parents, no friends, and you just got rejected now. And
Mhm.
I'm sure that there were moments where you traveled and the money, you spent most of your money, and then you need to give more lessons now because you want more money so you can go back to your country or travel to another country. How were you feeling at that moment that I need money now? I know it's tough. And how did you solve it?
It just happened to me maybe 2 months ago,
Oh,
on January holidays, like recently.
oh,
Uh, yes, yes, because it's um, I was at the time staying at my friend's apartment in
hmm,
Colombia.
okay.
So that was like rent free for me, and the plan was to stay there for another, I think, like 3 weeks.
Hmm,
And then it was also January holiday, so I had no work because all of my students were on holidays. So my plan was just to kind of lay low, stay in that apartment with my friend, and wait until all my students come back. But then, um, well, it was not my friend's fault, because it was his family's place. So the family tells me that I cannot stay anymore, and then I have to leave in 1 week.
oh,
Yeah, so it's not about being scared to go alone, but I was just like financially a bit scared because yes, I had no classes during that time and I didn't have many savings as well.
mm,
So yeah, at first I was a bit nervous, but I knew like the rest of my students, I mean all of them were coming back with time. And also, I think one client also declined. They didn't want to continue. So
hmm,
that would be less money, would have been less money. But then, yeah, I was just maybe a bit nervous for like a couple of days. But then I was like, okay, I need to find a new client. So I went and I found a new client on all those platforms and through my friends as well. So you just act on it, you know?
hmm,
You just need to do something about it. Yeah,
hmm,
there is no time to, I don't know, feel sorry for
hmm,
yourself. You just like, okay, get rejected. They don't need me.
hmm.
It's okay. I find someone else.
That's very interesting. And I really thank you that you shared this because I think it's some people think, and I used to as well, that whenever that I go through a bad time or a rejection or a demotivation, regardless, maybe at work, maybe at be different in a relationship or whatever, I always had that thought that I need to solve everything immediately. And that creates even more stress on me
Oh,
because I'm not
yes.
able to
Oh,
do it.
yes. Absolutely.
But I
Hmm.
realized that what you said is 100% right. And me personally, I tried what you said, which is it's fine. Okay, so now I'm feeling bad. I'm going to feel bad. I'm going to feel stressed for the next few days. Okay, so I spent now 2 or 3 days stressed, bad. I'm not in the mood. I don't want to talk to anyone. Here is the fourth day. I need to move forward and I need to take an action. And
True.
here I'm gonna ask you the next question is what was the action? So now let's imagine the situation. Olga, after 3 days of stress, bad moments, and you said, okay, I need to do something now. What were the steps practically that you did? Like, did you start going online again, seeing who's looking for an English instructor now online? Did you start to connect one of your old clients? What exactly did you take, if you remember the practical steps?
Yes, of course, I put like a notice, kind of like created stories on on my WhatsApp, on
Hmm,
the Russian version of WhatsApp that is called
hmm,
Telegram.
Okay.
Also, like in Russia, we use it a lot.
Uh-huh.
And on Instagram as well, I also told my current students and their parents that I'm looking for someone. And I also said, if you find someone for me, a
Mm-hmm.
client, like a new
Mm-hmm.
client, I give you like a free lesson, or
Mm-hmm.
I give you like, even like I told my kids,
Oh.
my students who are kids, I said, I will
Uh-huh.
send you, I don't know, 20 euros if
Mm-hmm.
someone comes from your side,
Wow.
if you find maybe
Oh.
someone. So a lot of them were motivated, and it worked before. This time
Uh-huh.
it didn't work. I just found someone I didn't know through Telegram, because
Okay.
in Telegram we have a lot of chats, and there are chats for teachers,
Mm-hmm.
and there are some specific chats where people look for teachers.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I just, yeah, I was replying to many requests. I think I maybe replied to, let's say, 15 requests. I was like, hello,
Wow.
my name is Olga. So you're looking for a teacher. I can, work with you. Told them about my background and everything. And
Uh-huh.
only I got only one approval, one client out of this. But I was really like messaging and sending my
Mm-hmm.
information. You need to tell the world about yourself.
100%, 100%. And,
Yes.
and 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 I think this is what we call resilience. And you need to have resilience, and you need to be persistent in what you do. But most importantly, I think you got that one client and you got out of that situation that you told us because you believed in yourself, you believe that you are skilled enough, that you can help people. That's why it helped you to stay persistent and resilient. And me personally, I'm really inspired
Yeah.
by how you are, because maybe I didn't tell you this in person before, or I told you. Um, there were a time in the hub. Maybe I told you this, but I think I'm gonna tell everyone about it now. So, people, there was a time when we met in the hub, and I used to not to have anything added on my calendar. I just like go to work, do my to-do list in the first 15 minutes, and then I start to see what I would do. And then there was a day that Olga was in her phone and then had the calendar of everything that she has when it comes to whether lessons she's gonna teach, or scuba diving or whatever. And then when I looked at the calendar, I was like, "Oh, I'm a really messy guy. I need to figure out something." And honestly, when I tried this, there's a lot of things has been changed in my life, even having better time management and better mindset. And speaking of mindset, I'm gonna ask you here a question: what mindset shift that helped you build this lifestyle? Because, of course, Olga mindset before doing solo traveling and doing solo jobs, which is freelancing, was completely different than the current Olga now. So now let's imagine that the 15-year-old Olga is with us now in this uh, session, and you can see her. What would you tell her that the most thing that you're proud of?
Yeah, I would tell her maybe, like they say, those who fail, they at least tried. And those who don't fail, they never tried, never tried
Oh,
doing something,
well,
stepping out of their comfort zone. I don't know. So I would just tell her that nothing is perfect, and there are always challenges anywhere in all aspects of our lives. Yes, especially in our career, in the job. But just if she looks around, and there are so many people even more successful than she is, so she can do it because other people can do it. Maybe she will be less successful, maybe she will be a bit more successful than the rest, but you never know until you try. And I also had a lot of difficulties, and it was not easy. And sometimes, yes, I had no clients, I didn't know how to promote myself. Now I have a site, I run my Instagram page. I have like a network of clients as well who recommend me. Just like yesterday, I got a new client as well because someone recommended me. So it just takes resilience, time, and I think dedication and discipline as well. You need to be
mhm.
consistent. And you lost one client, okay, I go to look for another one. So I guess just go and do it, you know?
Amazing, amazing. Those who fail actually try. That's a very, very deep uh, thought. And when I remember, because I used to think of failing as something embarrassing. That when every time that I fail, and I'm not gonna lie, so honestly, it happens a lot now. Like when I fail, I feel bad, whether about what I did, whether about me, and sometimes I would ask myself what people would say about me. Especially some people say, "Oh, how did Yusuf did that mistake?" Because and that takes us to the part of that we put the standard for ourselves. It's very, very important that every time that we fail, we need not to think about what people say about us, but rather we need to be vocal and say, that's a mistake that we did. Yes, we failed, but let's see the root cause. Why did we reach to this stage? Why did I have this? Because I think, or maybe, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, you just like mentioned that the situation that happened with you 2 months ago, one of the things that pushed you to look for more clients is you didn't have much of savings. So I think after this
Mm,
happened, you started to save now just in case anything that happened, or you started to think of, oh, I need to save money for the next time. So I think that every time that we fail, there is a lesson. If we really stop focusing on what people would say, stop focusing on the failure, stop focusing on the mistake, and rather shift our mindset to what exactly this is trying to teach me, then you're good to go now. And you're able, as you said, Olga, to do the next step. So, and you
yeah.
actually gave us few advices. You need to stay resilient, you need to stay persistent, and you need to start doing an action. So I think everyone now listening to this, please go for the three steps that she said. Me personally, I can do the first two things, resilience and persistence. Sometimes I do things, sometimes I don't. It's completely fine. I'm human, you're human. It's normal to make mistakes. And now I want to finish this with a quick game. Are you ready?
Mhm. Yes.
Cool. All right, so let's go back to the questions, Paula. Coffee or a tea?
Coffee,
Coffee. Paper book or ebook?
paper book.
100%. All right, and that's going to be an interesting question now. Learning a language or learning a skill?
Oof.
That's a difficult one, I know.
I love languages. I'm such a
Uh-huh.
linguist. A
Okay,
language, I think. Yeah.
okay, cool. Spanish or English?
English, still
English.
my first
Nice.
language.
Scuba diving
Yes.
or free diving?
Oh no, I cannot answer this question. So different. I
Both.
cannot, very different. Yes.
Very different. Cool. Stability or adventure?
It was a difficult question. Mm,
Both.
Both. Like maybe more stability, because maybe,
Okay.
getting older and everything, but still without adventure, it's too boring.
Okay.
Yes.
100%. 100%. Planning or improvising?
Planning, I think.
Singing or dancing?
Singing.
Oh, cool. Freelancing or traditional job?
Freelancing.
Oh, a window seat in the plane or an aisle seat?
Window seat to enjoy.
100% the view. All right. And the last one, sunrise or sunset?
Sunset.
One word that describes Olga's life philosophy.
Wow. My life philosophy, not even my job philosophy. I think gratitude. Whatever comes, sometimes like I was in this difficult situation in Colombia.
Hmm.
I thought it was difficult. I was so upset, but then I had to move out. I went to this
Hmm.
amazing hostel. I saw another city. I made so many new friends. I was so happy. It was
Hmm.
it was for the better. It was for the best what happened. So gratitude, whatever comes your way.
Amazing.
Yes.
100%, 100%. And now, the last thing. I know that we were speaking with 15-year-old Olga, but now if baby Olga, the pure one, just like Olga just got born now, and you're looking at her, what would you tell her about your life in one word?
Oof. I think freedom,
Freedom.
because I'm free. I'm very free. Yes.
That's amazing. Olga, thank you very much for sharing your story and experience with us today. Conversations like this always reminds me that there are paths in life that sometimes are more interesting to take. It's very important that we always need to take risk. Some risks gonna be calculated, some are not. We eventually, sooner or later, if you didn't fail today, you're failing tomorrow. If you failed today, doesn't mean that you're gonna fail tomorrow. Someone perception about you doesn't define your journey. You're destined for something to do it. And stepping out of the comfort zone is the best thing that you can do. But as you said, you need to research, you need to think about it. And if we now, as Steve Jobs said, connecting the dots backward, if we connect the dots backward now, we would say the most common thing between the solo traveling, freelancing, and the mindset that you had in common, Olga, is that you always research before you go. You research for the parents that needs to teach their kids English. You research for the place that you're traveling to in order that you can be more attentive and you know exactly what to do. You research about how the mind operates, which you learned and you got certified at the neuro language, so you can teach your kids and that learn English with you in a way that their brain would be able to do it. And I would say now to everyone watching this, it's very, very important that you always have the courage to think different, act different, and be different. And I'm always going to say yes, Steve Jobs, because he's my role model. He once said, the people who are crazy enough to think they can change the world are actually the ones who do. And today, Olga told us that we need to do something. So, whatever you are right now, whatever you're watching this, regardless the country that you're at, always believe that you're destined to do something and you're unique. All you need to do, think different, act different, and be different. Thank you, Olga.
Thank you, Yusuf. Thank you so much. It was a pleasure.
This is mine.